All right, what's going on YouTube? What's going on YouTube? And good morning, good morning. Or it's almost evening here where I'm at. It's 11 o'clock. I'm here in the great state of Texas, right? And we're gonna be doing some caricatures today. We're gonna be practicing some caricature bodies. And then we're gonna be practicing some caricature faces. Some of the ticks and trips, tricks and tips that I use to draw my caricature faces. Um, you're going to see a lot of really basic stuff going on here because I think that that's where you should start at, right? You should practice basic so that everything when you draw live looks complicated, but it's really not. You understand what I'm saying? So the basics are what matter. I'm not here to show off and, oh, this is how good I can draw and all that kind of stuff. No ego here, man. I just want to share with you guys, encourage you guys, uplift. I know there's a lot of artists out there that are looking for a way to do something with their artwork, and and be and it's you're more likely to do something. I think when you are within a group, you understand, of people. So excuse me, getting my coffee, my hero cup, Dad, right? So, with that spirit in mind, let's go ahead and dive in. Also, guys, while we're going through the stream, tips are appreciated, of course, on YouTube. You guys know how to use the super sticker, super chat. And then, if you guys are on TikTok, I believe there's a way you can do it too with your stickers and chats. If you don't understand how to do it there, you could always go to Cash App on Dollar or at Rouser World, and you can also donate to our ministry there. Me and my wife are we're an art ministry. So um, again, I don't need to state that mission again, but that's what we do. We want to uplift and encourage others to find their best them, not just on the drawing board, but spiritually as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And let me go over here. So I'm going to go to my little drawing pad here. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the bodies first, because that's really where I feel like a lot of us folks struggle is with drawing bodies, right? So I'm going to put this book over here. All right. And then we're going to kind of go sideways with it. Okay, I'm thinking you guys can see my page from over here. Hey, what's going on, D-Rock? How are you today? Mike, Jermaine, what's going on, Jermaine? How you doing? Let me look up here on YouTube, on TikTok, and see what you guys got going on over here. Now, guys, if I don't answer you back immediately on TikTok, it's just because I'm sitting at an angle where I can't see your comments. So I want to, oh, you know what? Duh. Hold on a second. Let me do this. Hold on, let's go over here. I just forgot I could do this. Hold on. I have TikTok on my computer. Somebody stop me. TikTok. Here. TikTok. Okay. I don't want to download TikTok. I just want to go to the. Let me see if I can go over here and make it come up just so I can see your. All right, so this is my what? Is this my profile? Let me see here. I can go to my phone. Oh, I'm not gonna do all that. I just whatever. All right. So when I draw bodies, guys. Oh, let me make sure my I just want to make sure that swipe left. Okay. I just want to be sure that you guys can see this picture over here. Okay. All right. Okay. So, and then I'll draw a little bit bigger for you as well. All right. So, again, when I'm drawing bodies, I like to also, just like faces, and we'll pull up some bodies here. Um, Let me see. Let's look up. Let's go to Pinterest here. and we'll look up some bodies. Some bodies. All right. So I like to use Pinterest because it has all kinds of little different exercises you can use to help you to understand how the body works. Okay. Now I saw these are just some bodies here, different body types. We don't have to make them the same as theirs, but we're gonna use the spirit of those bodies to learn to draw them. Okay. All right. So what I like to do, I'll start with a blank piece of paper here. Is I like to start by drawing. I like basic shapes of my body. Okay. All right. Squares, triangles, rectangles. I also like this hourglass shape. Comes in very handy, right? What other shape do we have here? We also have this shape here, which is called a pentagon. All right, or it kind of looks like a Superman symbol. All right. And these are going to come in good when you're drawing caricatures. You want to do a quick body, and you got a long line of people. Okay. Now this is not teaching you. I'm not going to go into anatomy and all that right now. We're just going to go into the basic building blocks of the body. So we'll use this one here first. So also we'll have our I call this my pill shape, and these are good for heads, right? Your little pill shapes. Okay. So we got pills, right? That take some pills, right? And then we got our hourglass, we got our rectangle, we got our triangle, and then we have our square. And if we think of any other shapes we can use in between there, we will. Of course, we have our hand shapes. We'll get into those in a minute. So what we're going to do is learn about the basic skeleton of the body, okay? So over here, and I'm going to just kind of, again, try to draw a little big here. I'm going to start with a pill shape, right, in general, okay? And then I'm going to go over here to my rectangle shape. Now, generally, when I get to the arms and shoulders, I like to look at what the posture of your person is very important. So what the person is shaped like here as their shoulders kind of go down like this. So here you can see that the shoulders kind of go down, so it forms a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So really what's happening here is it's forming this pentagon shape, but the pentagon is literally turned right side up. So if you draw a pentagon here, right, you can see that you have your upper body. Okay, so you see where we have our rectangle, we have our pill shape, right? And I got a pen here I'm gonna use to kind of color code this for you. So you can, let me see, we got red, we got purple. I guess we can use orange, okay? So we'll color these in here. That one's not bold enough for me. Let's go with blue. All right, so here we go. So we're gonna color this in one here, blue, right? And then we'll color whichever one that we use. We use this one. This is the Superman shape, right? Okay. And then we have our, let me see, then we have this shape here, which would be our purple. So I'll just go ahead and stick that in, okay? So this shape here is that shape, right? And then this shape here is this shape. And then this shape here is this shape. So this is the torso, okay? Now, once you get to the torso, what I find that works real good is to go down to, we'll go down to this little section here, which all that is really just a square, or we can use a rectangle kind of turned on its side. So what we'll do here is we'll take our pen and we'll draw a rectangle, right? And then we're going to come back and notice that the hips on the lady are a lot wider than the shoulders. So how do we achieve that effect? Well, we can still use the pentagon, but we're going to turn it the other way now. So instead of the top of the pentagon being up here, we're going to have it pointing to the bottom. And then we're going to flatten the bottom off some so that it's not a point right here. So let's do like this. Ready? 1, 2, right? 3, 4. So now we can see we have a top, a middle, and a bottom, right? And we have a center line going down our drawing, right? All right. Now, let's go here to our arms. Now, when we get to we can go to the legs first, actually. Okay, so let's go down here and look at what our legs are doing. Okay. Now, generally for legs, what I would do is I could either go with this pill shape, but I'm gonna just as a quick rule of thumb here. If you'll notice, from the legs are pretty much the same size. They're basically twice the length of your torso. Okay, and that's my golden my rule of thumb. So if I'm drawing her legs here, I might draw a let's say I go here with my rectangle shape, or we can go with this shape here. And this shape right here, I don't know what we can call that. It looks like I think it's a trapezoid. Okay, works very good for mapping out your legs. Okay, so this is one I'm going to do in orange. Okay, and why does it fit so well? Because you can see it kind of snaps together, so it takes the guesswork out of you drawing your picture. Okay, let me see, my exposure is a little bit down. I need to brighten up a little bit here. Hold on one second, guys. Let me go here and turn up the brightness. Okay, there we go. All right, so my brightness should be there just a little bit better, and maybe a little bit more contrast. There we go. And sharpness. Not too much. All right, so there we go. All right. Can you guys see that pretty good on YouTube? All right, so we're going to take this shape here, right, which is our, and hopefully, let me look up here and see if you guys can see on TikTok. Okay, okay, yeah, you guys should be able to see here. Okay, yeah. All right, and we're gonna go to this shape here, and then we'll come down with it. So we can go. Actually, let's make it straight at the bottom, so it'll look like this. I want to get the simplest shape possible. So we're gonna go 1 and 2. Okay, doesn't matter that it's not curved like this. Again, we're trying to get it we're trying to do symmetry first before we think of curviness or features. So we want to learn what the building blocks of whatever it is that we're drawing first. Okay, then we'll go from there, and we'll look at this point and this point, right? And we'll draw another line about that long here and here. Okay, now these shapes here, as you get down to the bottom of the leg, okay, generally they kind of taper in a little bit more. So they kind of taper like a cup, if you think of it like a long, let's make this into a long, like a cup type shape, right? So we'll just color that cup in over here too. So these are just represent our legs over here. All right, so we got our cup shape here, right? All right, and then we have our foot shape, which our foot shape is generally represented by like little right triangles. Okay. Okay. Same thing with the arms. Once we get here to the arms, we know the arms are twice the length. So most of the time, your arms are going to stop right in this area here. Okay, so you can learn the general proportion. So it's going to stop right about here and here. And then it's going to be like your little ball in the middle right there. So we might have a circle over here too. And then it's going to go down into your hand shape. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to go to basically mid-thigh is where most people's arms are going to stop. Okay, again, I don't care about how big her having the big. I'm not trying to draw this style. I'm just trying to draw the body, okay? And then my hands can be represented the best way, I think, by little wedges like this, kind of like how I did the feet, okay? All right, and so on and so forth. So now you got your whole body kind of mapped out. So this is a very robotic, way to think about it, but these are easy bodies to form. This is obviously the female body, but then the male body is going to be just about the same. What you're going to do is you might have a more of a, let's just say you might have more of a square look to the body, right? So let's just say you want to draw something like this, right? You might go over here and you'll say, okay, I got my circle, right? And then it's like I think of it's like a little shield, and then I got my neck, which is my my rectangle here, and then I have my pentagon, right? But it'll be much wider and longer on one side, right? And then I have my little rectangle again, but kind of shortened it, and then here you can see you have your pentagon again, right? And then this is your body's center right here, okay? All right, I kind of turned that head a little bit sideways there. I should have went a little bit more this way. Okay, then you have your legs. So here we go, 1, here we go, and then we got 2. Okay, if we go in this way right here, we just kind of make the leg go out, flatten it, and then we'll look at our joints. Then we'll come here, we'll go down, and we'll taper in with our cup shapes here. From there, we'll go to our foot shape, which we can represent with these little blocks here. Okay, then we go to our arm shape, which is going to be the same thing. Remember, see how our arms stop right in here? This arm over here connects right here. These pentagons are awesome because the body just kind of snaps right together with that. You get what I mean? All right, and then over here we'll have our other cup shape going down, right? And then here, if you want to put, we can put our little block here. Okay, or fist if you want to make a fist. Okay, and you can see where our hands are usually going to stop in this resting position at the mid thigh level. Okay, so we're not going to go through every single last body pose, but these are 2 basic little bodies you can use, and you can manipulate these shapes to make them longer or shorter. Oh, also look over here. Let me go with a half circle, and I can show you some other things you can do. So let's just say over here you got a person with let's say you got a person with a female shape, right? You can use this hourglass shape. This is a really simplified one, and you can just kind of stick figure it out. So this is to be the whole midsection, right? And then you can see here that the head of our person will go here, and it will go into the shape. You see, like this. So you got some little ears there, and then from here you can just kind of remember that your arms go in L shape. So we got a 1, a 2, right? And then another shape, right? And then we have our hands here. Okay, and then we can go with our legs, a 1, a 2, right? A 1, a 2, right? And we can a 1, a 2. So you want to have a good stick figure base before you start drawing your picture. You know what I'm saying? So you can get it right. There's many ways to be able to approach this. It's really which way is the most comfortable for you. You know what I mean? It's really which way is the most comfortable. Okay. So now, when you are drawing, there's one other way that I find pretty cool that I think a lot of people can wrap their mind around. So as we're going through these bodies, keep in mind these are just different ways, different means to an end. And so which style of body? Notice that every artist has a different way they draw bodies. You'll see comic book artists, right? They might have a style very similar to this one where they show a lot more musculature and all that, right? Versus then you got caricature artists that do have different types of bodies, right? If you look at this body right here, right? all of it to me, it doesn't matter. I can draw it either way, but all of it to me just looks like shapes. I really don't like that body right there, but it's okay. I mean, that's just the way he draws it. You have position bodies where you can do different things, like this one here where the guy is drawing a sword out, right? And all I'm doing when I do these types of bodies, all I'm doing is taking these same kind of shapes and kind of manipulating them. But let me show you a way that you can do it where you can put a little bit more bend in your body. Let me take a look at my TikTok real quick. I mean, real quick, see what you guys got going on over here. Okay. All right. You said they look too short and awkward. Oh, we're gonna fix you up. We're gonna fix you up. Who is that? Milk. Milk. Is that Milk? Okay. Yeah. All right. So let me see here. Let's flip over to my next page here, and I'm going to show you another way to think about this. Okay. So we're going to go to the back of this page. I actually have some bodies here that I did that were very, 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 very simple. Okay. And I think I can, let me see if I can get down here just a little bit more. Right, so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, move to the right. Okay, so you guys should be able to see that a little bit better. So I got some bodies here that I drew using this technique I'm about to show you. And what this is called, and I'm going to do it over here. It's called my paper technique. Okay? Where the heck did I get that word from? Well, because this is a piece of paper, right? And notice that the body does like the paper will do. Everywhere there's a bend in the body, like right here on this paper, right? The body can bend like this, right? So when I'm drawing the body, the torso, for instance, I'm thinking of a piece of paper like this. All right, look. This is just a piece of paper. And the piece of paper bends, right, to make body parts. Now, the piece of paper goes for the torso. So we'll just label, we got our torso here and our head, okay? And notice it can do different, it can go this way, right? And let's just draw the paper like this. Okay, so now it looks 3D. Look at the head kind of going down like this. This is the neck, right? And you see here, these are the shoulders. And then this is where your legs would come off from, if you could see how I'm doing this. So your legs and arms all kind of come off of this shape, right? Here goes your arms, right? Let's say he's doing like this. Okay? I'm just making them do different things just because. But this is how essentially I like to plot my caricature drawings out. Okay? Because this is so much easier to understand when I'm doing a sketch as far as pencil is concerned. And to help you get your extremities right, remember that all your extremities here, okay, and let's go ahead and get a red pencil out. All of my extremities are going to be one shape, and they're usually going to be based off of the triangle. Okay, that's how you keep your pictures from looking to an equilateral triangle. So what does that mean? All right, let's say I wanted to put legs here, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a straight line first. Watch this. This is how far I want my guy to be from the floor. So watch this. Okay? That's what this is the base of the triangle. See, this is the base. This is the point. All right. So right here, watch. This is the base. These are the points. You see, when you get to your upper body, same concept. This is the base, right? Depending on what you want your arm to do. So let's say this is the base here. Okay? If you want your arm to do like this, let's say this is how far you want it, this is how far you want it to go out. Okay? Well, here's our shoulder right here. So we're going to go down, up, down, up. Okay? Hand, hand, neck. See how we made our body kind of do something, right? It doesn't matter if if the paper's on the floor, right? You might have seen somebody. Maybe the paper's doing some yoga. So now I got a piece of paper on the floor. Okay, if you can picture the paper is doing like this. This is the middle part of the paper here. So this part is kind of covered up, but this is the head, right? And then back here, right? If you look at we're going to have to do equilateral. 1, 2, right? And then our thing here. And then we go back here. 1, 2, right? And then look. 1, 2, right? And then we got 1, 2, right? And the same concept. So now it looks like my guy's kind of laying on the floor looking at something over here. You get what I mean? I hope that makes sense to you guys. All right, and don't forget, guys, if you are benefiting from what I'm showing you today, tips appreciated, man. Thank you. Okay. All right, so we got our. Is this making sense, guys? Oh, these are on Pinterest. So all you have to do is go to Pinterest and look up Caricature Bodies on Pinterest. I think I can share a link with you here in just a minute. Hold on. All right, I'll get to you. I'll get with you on that. All right. So what we're gonna do down here is I'm gonna practice some bodies. Okay. So let's just say I want to draw. I don't know. Let's say I want to draw that guy. Okay. But I want a pose that looks kind of like that. Well, what I want to do here to get the idea of the pose first is I want to get a piece of paper to represent his torso, and then I want his head, right, to be here somewhere. Now, if we look here, watch. 1, 2, right? And then we got his other arm kind of going down behind the back of the paper here. Okay, but we don't really want to get into that yet. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go like this, and we're only dealing with the front of the leg. 1, right? And then we're going to go over here. 1, right? And then we come back here, and it's kind of behind it. Okay, this one's going to be the whole front of the leg. This will be the whole front of the leg. And then this will be the whole back of the leg. And then this would be the side of the leg, right? And then this would be, just real quick, if he got his little sword right there. Okay, so we got, all right, and then we got a piece of paper going in here, right? And then we got another little circle coming out here for the arms. So I'm using the paper, and I'm kind of building. I'm building something off of it. This is his little hand back here. I don't know what he got in his hand back there, but right, this will be that. And then he's got like a little missile or something back here, right? But what I'm trying to do is get the idea of what I'm drawing down very quickly. You get what I mean? Just a general overall gesture of the picture, okay? Again, there's another way I saw is Ragnar is an artist that I follow sometime. He'll do it kind of like where he does like a circle like this. Okay, to teach you basic bodies, and then he makes things come off of the basic circle like this, right? And then he puts like a little head up here, the pen, and that head is like whatever you want to do. So this is another way you could do it, right? Just draw your shape, and then you can use like little tentacles, right? See this guy here doing that. This guy here doing this, right? Okay. So any position you want to draw, I try to stick with the very basic positions. These are all very easy to draw, but when you're doing caricature, you might not want to get into too many exotic poses. You know what I mean? Because this is like they say, this is the top of the paper. This looks more like a pillow to me. If I could get you to imagine that. See how this looks like a pillow, kind of bent over. See if you picture it like with little things on it like this. Looks like a pillow. Okay, and then you have your head shape here. See, this is the top of the head. And then here you can see this is where your arms and your muscles kind of all go. Here. Here. Here, right? Again, this way of doing it though, I find is a gigantic pain in the behind, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? But if you feel like this is the way you want to do it, no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Put the little hands here, and then put my middle fingers here. Okay, so that might be this one here. Okay, again, just getting a basic little sketch of what's going on over here. I might need to turn my brightness down on this screen here. It's up too high. Okay, there we go. That might be a little bit better for you guys, right? Let me make sure what we got over here on TikTok, man. All right. So let's I think for caricature purposes, I want to show you something here. Now watch this. Let's look up Caricature Bodies. Okay. Templates. Okay. So I don't know what it says here. Let me see. Let's look up. Most caricature, they don't even have bodies on here. A lot of them don't, but let's look at trying to see if they have any here. Okay. Right. Here we go. So most of the time when you draw the body, you see how this body is just kind of static and looking at the camera. These are the kind of bodies you want to draw for caricatures. You want to use something more like this, right? Or this. This is for comic books. You don't really want to get into that. Nobody cares, right? So stop. Don't be trying to do all this comic book stuff. Just when you practice, let's say we want to draw this guy right here, right? We look for the circle in the middle. So let's start with a circle. So practice with me. So let's start by drawing out our little circle right here. And then we can draw little extremities just kind of coming off the circle. You see? Look, here goes. It's just a little basic little body, okay? And then here, if you want to add like little things like this to the shape, you can. And then you can bring your body shape down. So let's go here and keep it simple. Make us a little tentacle like type of an arm, right? See that? And then here we got this, and we're looking for that front. I always look for this front finger here, and then that rear finger back there, and everything else just kind of goes in the middle. All right, that's what I also learned that from watching another artist that showed me about hands. See that first finger, and then you look for that first finger. Now let's say I want to do something funky. I want to put my last finger out here. Then my other fingers just kind of go in the middle there, and you can get you some good hands there. And then up here, right? Then you got your head shape. So let's say this is your head shape. Okay, this is his little, right? And then this is his little head here. And this is his neck right here. And you can see his eyebrow line, like right there. His big nose, right? And huge mustache. Okay? And then you got the chin shape here, and then you got your shirt, and then this just kind of comes down around here, right? However you want to do it. So it's easier to start with your whatever that person's body is shaped like. You get what I mean first. So either or. I find that if you want to bend the body, use paper. If you want to keep the body static, just use a shape for and cheat like I do. To cheat. All right. If I find my guy is super like this, I might draw a shape like that, right? And then I might bring his head shape into the other shape. So see how I combined it? So he looks like a football player. See? You got a mustache here, right? I'm just doing this to give you some context, right? And then you can see the center of your body here. So how would I now draw based off of the triangles? Remember, these shapes are nothing but triangles, but I made them like, let's say I want to do I want to make him, I don't know. We can do it like this, right? Right, and put his foot here. So he's bending a little bit more. Or I can do his leg like this, right? Up here. And bend the leg off of the body like this so that his foot's over here, right? Or I can put another leg here so that he's jumping. You get what I'm saying? It's all the same thing. Your arms too. This is how you learn how to position the body to do what you want it to do. I always draw the outside of the arm first. If I go up, then my arms will do like this, right? And they'll kind of go in front of my head a little bit. So now I'm looking like this, right? So if a guy is like doing like a doo 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 doo, right? So I can do whatever I want once I understand proportions. So just remember, triangles connected. Look, triangles connected to a shape. It doesn't matter. If it's now in Disney, you'll see they use a lot of bean shapes. Okay, because I don't think some people can't see beans that well, right? Beans don't agree with my stomach, to be honest with you. All right, but then over here, look, it's just triangles, right? Connected to a shape. So all I have to do is draw a triangle here, and a triangle here, and a triangle here. Right? And a triangle here. Let's just say I got this. See my triangle shape? And my head shape is some kind of shape like a circle, right? Here. My foot, same thing. Is really just a triangle, right? It may be, I don't know. Will my thumb be? It would be, if I'm facing that way, my thumb would be outside. So what I would want to do here is find my inner finger and my outer finger, right? And then, my thumb is in the outside. So now all I have to do is just put my two fingers in the middle and wrap it around. So now I can see where my hand is. See, this is the middle, this is the front two, right? And then maybe here, you got a thumb, and then you got a finger here, right? So he's holding his back or something. He's like, oh, I'm in pain. And these are quick little bodies. If you want to do somebody that's doing golfing or whatever their theme is, you can do like that. Let's look at this guy right here. Okay, let's look at this guy. Okay, all right. Think of your torso. What shape is that? Okay, what is it? We're gonna go with a round shape again. Okay, his arms are nothing but triangles attached to the triangles attached to the circle. His legs are one big triangle, actually. Now look, one big triangle coming off of the triangle. See? And then you have your feet coming off of that. So this might be a guy just kind of standing there looking at the camera. Okay? Now, what about girl shapes? How does that work? Well, it's the same thing with female shapes. Or we'll see if we can find one here. They don't have very many. Let me see. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Here's another style of body here. See, another artist came up with this style. So we can see here. Look at that body shape. Okay. So really, it's the same thing. It looks like to me like it's the same. What is her shape there? Her shape is going to be basically this right here. Okay. This is basically the shape. And then it's got like her, coming off right there. That's all the shape is. And then your circle is here, right? And then all you're doing is taking your triangle, right? She got like a little book here, right? And you got your triangle going down and then your triangle going behind the body. You know what I'm saying? And then you got your triangle going down. Oh, actually, this one's going straight. And then you go over here to the legs, right? And since she seems to be kind of doing like this on the outside, so what I want to do is I always want to start from the outside of the leg, and then make however I want my leg to go. So I might start from the outside and come down here with my triangle, and then go to the foot. Versus over here, I'm going to cause it to offset just a bit, right? And then I'll come over here, and I'll put my other triangle and have her foot kind of coming out here. Okay, so this is like just quick bodies, head shape, right? And then whatever her hair is doing. Okay, so today, guys, I think that's all I'm gonna do on bodies. We'll come back and maybe practice some a little bit later. I have a picture I need to do I told my client that I would do that picture live. So I'm going to be clearing all this stuff off my desk so that you guys can be able to see me do a caricature of some children. Right? Bodies is something that you have to sit back and practice it. You have to get in touch with this cartoon guy in you. Look at this guy where his legs and arms his legs are so long compared to that torso. So you got like a piece of paper again, right? And then you basically got a long shape coming off your piece of paper, right? And then you got down here, you got your little socks, these little rectangles, and then you have your foot shape coming off like this, right? And then you want to make sure you have your shoulders to represent exactly what the arm is doing, and then you just come down here. And if I don't know what position that I want to draw when I'm drawing live, what I'll do is I'll go on my phone, and I'll find a way or a body that's in that position. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll just go from there. All right, let's go over here. Okay. And then we got our head shape, whatever our head shape is. So to get good at caricature, man, you got to learn how to draw go in there and find some cartoons like this, because this is going to help you to stop seeing things so literally. You know what I mean? See here, I don't care how it looks, and right at that. Yes, right. Right. That's my guy right there. Okay. So keep your bodies simple, straightforward. Practice from cartoon animations, and find an artist that you like to kind of pattern behind. But remember, whatever you do, keep your drawing simple. All the body is either a circle, I like to, again, or that piece of paper. If you want to give your body a little bit more of a bend, And you can do all kinds of things, right? Just by thinking that once I get here, I should be able to see here. If my body is shaped like let's say somebody's body is shaped like a milkshake, right? You can do this, right? The paper, but then you can do a milkshake top. You know what I'm saying? So now what's happening is the shoulders, this is the top. So this person really doesn't have any shoulders. You get what I'm saying? So their body is going to tend to look very, very slumpy when it gets in here. So all that is just really a half shape here, right? And your shoulders are kind of going down like that. Okay? I like my spray can bodies. All right? See? See how that looks like a spray can? That's a spray can head. See? And then all you're doing here is adding this, coming down, coming down, coming over like that. You know what I'm saying? All right. So let's go ahead and get into this picture that I'm going to draw. So we're going to be going into some caricature. Real quick, I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to pull up the photos. So I'm going to start with, I got my two fellas here. So we got, hold on, my wife just gave me the names. I think it was, hold on. Where did I put it? Is it here? Or is it? Oh, what you got? Oh, I found it. It is not there. It's not there. All right. Oh, Christopher and William. Gotcha. There we go. So we're going to start with Christopher's face first, and then we're going to do William. So I got to get out a very big piece of paper here, guys. So give me a moment here. All right. To put this away, we'll come back and revisit those body drawings. Okay. Put that here. And then we're going to keep this up here. I'm going to have to move. I'm going to get a much larger sheet of paper because I'm going to be going long ways like this. Okay, and then I'm going to move this out the way. Okay. I'm going to put my paper about right there. Okay. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to start with his face first. So I'm going to put his face over here. Okay. Because we're going to draw him on this side of the paper. And hopefully that doesn't, let me put a little bit more brightness on that. Okay. Let me see. All right, so I believe this is Christopher right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out my pen, my Sharpie, and a gray, and then I need this marker here. I might also need a little crayon action for the hair, okay? And we're going to try our best to do this without this other hand, without it getting in my way. So I might have to squeeze over here a little bit by my camera. Let me check out TikTok real quick. Okay. All right, so here we go, TikTok. We're going to draw that picture right here. Then we're going to put his little brother on the other side. Okay? Okay. All right. So what I'll do here is I'm going to start with my jawline. Okay, so let's move it here. Okay, and I hope you guys can see that pretty good. All right, so let me see. So we're going to start with my basic trapezoid shape. Okay, and I'm going to make his forehead about like this here. Okay, and then I'm gonna come across the top. I'm using light lines here because I want some disparity in my lines, okay? And then over here, I'll add the little piece of hair that's in his face. You can kind of see it right here, right? Okay, and then we'll go ahead and we'll add our next shape to our drawing, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm thinking of the head as a steeple, okay, with a flattened top, okay? So what I'm gonna do for his hair is I'm gonna make it out a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna go up the steeple, flatten the top, and come back around like this. See, this thing's getting in my way right here. All right. In fact, this is gonna be hard to do without. All right, tell you what I'll do. I'll move the paper here. This way the board is over here. It's easier for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I keep bumping my hand every time I go that way. All right. So, anyway, let's go with it. And then we're just going to use basic flow of the hand to bring our shape in. Okay. And I'm going to do this shape over here. I don't want really heavy lines here. So I really want to control how much pressure I'm putting with my pen. And I'm going to put a little body here. And I'm going to moon out the body. You see how I thought about, remember that semicircle I told you about? That's what I'm thinking about here, right? And then we can see his little jacket just kind of coming off here, right? You see that back here? All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start working on our inner shapes, all right? Put this little piece of hair in this face. All right, so this is real easy once I get here. I'm going to use 2 parallelograms or trapezoid shapes to form my eyebrows. Okay? Okay? And then I'll add a little peak onto the end of it. And then I'm going to add my eye shapes here. So I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to start from the bottom with a really light line. And then what I'm going to do is build my eyes from there. Okay? See? And then I put my eyeball here. Okay? And then I just bring the shape around. Okay? Okay. Then I'll bring my eye shape here. Okay? I might darken this line in now a little bit on top. And then I might add some lighting here. Okay? Now, let me see. What's next here? My nose shapes. His nose relationship is pretty close because he's a little kid. You know what I mean? So what I want to do here is I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to use a round shape, something that goes kind of up like this. Right? And I'm going to make like a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a little igloo almost. I'm going to do like a little igloo. Like this. And then add my nostril shapes in there. I want his nose shape to be very little compared to the eye shape before I start putting in these shapes here. Now let's go ahead and put him a little bit of a smile here. All right, so we're going to go like this. Okay, and then I'm going to do a trapezoid shape again. Okay, and then I'm going to put my bottom lip here. Very light lines again because these are children. You really got to be watching out for that line space. Now, once you get here, you're going to see he has very little bitty teeth, okay? So how would I approach those teeth? I would draw the gum line first, okay? So this is what I will do. 1, 2, right? And I'll just come out here. And, just in 1. Right? And then I'll add my teeth to it like this. See how small the teeth look there? So that's part of his cartoon. That same thing down here. I'm really controlling my line weight here. And we got two little teeth like this. Okay? All right. So now we just go ahead and give them a little bit of smile line, very minimal. Okay, I don't do a lot of lines in children's faces because, again, it's going to make them look old. Also, notice how the chin line is very, very, very little. Okay, so you want a little shape. Okay, and then you can see the part in his hair kind of doing like this here into that shape, right? All right, I don't do hairline, all these little strands of hair yet. That's not until the end of the drawing, okay? So what I want to do is I want to get both little fellas on the paper first, right? And then once I have the little fellas on the paper, then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna add some shadows and stuff, and you're gonna see that the drawing is threefold. I want to make it three-dimensional, but I still wanted to maintain a cartoon appearance, okay? I also feel like in this one I could have made a little bit more of a separation here in between the nose and the mouth, but that's negligible. I still feel like the likeness is there, so it's okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and we're going to draw William, which is this person here, okay? So what I'm going to do is bring my paper in. I'm going to cover up Chris here, Christopher. And we're going to go over to William's face, and we're going to add him like his little brother, okay? So here we go. Now, his face is a lot different, so this is what we're going to do. I want to make sure I make them look like they go in the picture together, so I got to keep in mind the size at which I drew this. So I might do something like this here, okay? Okay? And then once I get here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at it like, I'm going to give him a bigger forehead shape, so I'm going to start a little bit higher up here before I go down here. Okay? See? And then we're going to add the next shape here, right? And a little shirt here, right? And you know what? They're kind of hugging each other, so I'm going to moon the shape around, right? And then I'll just moon this shape down. Okay, because I know what I want my body to look like, right? And then I'll just come over here and I'll add my top to my drawing. Okay, so the top of this drawing, I'm going to do a three-sided top, 1, 2, and then back into the top like that. And then I'm going to come down here, 1. And then from here, naturally, gravity is going to take over. And I'm going to use this shape here to just kind of, right? All right. And then we got a little bit of the ear shape here. Kids' ears sit very low on their face. Another common drawing kids mistake, okay, is when you draw the ears too high up on the face, it adds 30 years to the picture. Okay, all right, so don't do it. All right, so here I'm gonna do my shapes again. Here we go. So we're gonna do very light shapes, and I want to use some nice old trapezoids, right, to get the basic idea of the eye first. Add some little lines in here, okay, and then we're gonna go to our eye shape. So I'm looking here at all this dead space between the eye and the eyebrow. They're kind of far apart, and it's also a slant down. So with these eyes right here, what I'm thinking about is I'm thinking about the bottom of a kite, but I want the eyes to tilt outward. So watch the importance of starting at the bottom of the eye. Let me show you what the importance is, because now I can draw the base of the eye. Watch. Okay, and the base of the eye. Okay, and once I have the base of the eye, then I can come back and I can add the eye. It allows me to be able to get there a lot more efficiently than if I start at the bottom and try to work at the top and try to work down. Okay, it allows me my placement to be better and everything. So here he has pretty dark colored eyes. So what I'll do is I'm just going to add 2 circles of light in there before I kind of just blacken him in. Because it's going to really capture his eyes since we're doing a black and white drawing, right? You see? All right. And then we have his eyelashes, right? Now, what for the eyelashes on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different, I'm going to use this is a thinner marker here. So I'm going to go with I'm just going to make my eyes, and that's how you keep them from looking too feminine. Even though the eyes look natural, they look long, make them long only in one direction. This way, when you add all this around the eye, right, it just kind of looks like that, right? See? All right. Now, once I get there, I could go ahead and I can get my nose shape here. Okay. So I'm looking at that relationship of the nose here. I'm seeing like another igloo shape. A little different from his brother's nose though. Right? And then I'm going to do like this here. And I'm going to separate the nostrils a little bit more than in this shape. They have different little noses. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to our mouth shape. Okay. Let's go ahead and zoom in on it. So we can see here, we're not going to make the same mistake. We're going to drop it down with a little bit of a line first. And then we're going to do like this. Watch. We're going to wrap around that line. And we're going to go down. Right? Right there. And then we'll put our top lip in between there. Then we'll come with our trapezoid shape. 1. Right? 2. 3. I don't care what it says in the picture. I'm doing it that way. Okay? And then we got the teeth shape. So what we want to do again, we want to start with our gum line. So we want to go gum line, and then we want space, and then gum line, and then gum line, right? And then space, and then tooth. All right, so I'm looking at space and teeth, and then I just do my shapes here. All right? And I might put his tongue in there like that, okay? All right, so we got the basis of the drawing down. Okay, so that was pretty simple, right? Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to go back over to Christopher. Okay, so for Christopher, hold on 1 second, guys. Let me make sure that I'm still over here. Okay, let's do it again. Hold on. Okay, all right, there we go. All right. So here again, we're gonna go to Christopher. All right. Again, guys, if you feel like you're benefiting from the lesson today, tips are appreciated. Thank you. This is my full-time job, so I try to. This is my hustle, right? This is my hustle, right? Everybody got a little hustle they do. This is my hustle, right? Every day I'm hustling, right? All right. So let's go here, and we're gonna look at this face here. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna add some shadows. All right. So first off, we're not gonna do his eyes as dark. We're gonna make his. We're gonna use this gray. I'm on this. This is a black and white for my client. So I'm gonna do it in this right here. Okay. And this is how I'm starting to add all my shadows in. Okay. 1, 2. All right. We can see the top lip here. Right, bottom lip here, kind of colored in, right, and then we'll do. We're gonna do something on that top one too, but we're gonna use a dried out marker because I don't want it to be all. Let me see. Let's do in between the teeth here, and then we'll come back with another layer here to get this rolling, right? Okay, we'll color that in just a minute. All right, and we go here. Okay, now let's go to the little cheeks right there, right? Okay, and then we're gonna come here, watch this. And we're going to add a little bit of shadow just below the cheeks and around the cheeks out a little bit with the shadows. Now I like to use. I started doing this shadowing technique on the river walk in San Antonio, because it made my time. It took a lot off my time. You know what I mean? So that was kind of the whole idea with that. Let me see if this one's kind of dry here. Let me see. All right, hold on. And if it's not, I'm gonna make it. All right, here we go. So here, I want to color this in, and then I'll come back with some black in between the teeth to really make it stand out. In fact, let me do this here. Add that here. Okay, there we go. And then we'll wait for that to dry and come back in between here. Okay, we don't want it to be too dark, but we want that separation in there. Okay, to make those teeth kind of really pop out toward the front of the drawing. All right, now let's see here. We're gonna go to the, what do we have next here? Oh, okay, 1, 2, okay. All right. And you see how it don't look like it got a lot of lines, so your face ain't too busy. You know what I mean? Okay. Now we're gonna go over here. Okay, to this face. What the? What the heck is that? I don't know. I thought I was sitting here in my vendor. I was like, what the heck? Is my phone talking to me? All right, let me see. All right, let me see. All right, so now we're going to go over here. Hold on one sec, guys. Uh-oh, what did I do there? Okay, I was just making sure that was right. Okay. All right, let me see here. So now we over here. Wait. It's a little brother, okay? So we're going to go over here. We're going to see how we can fill in this space. And then we can do like this. And like that. Okay. Top lip. In between the teeth here. Okay. And then we got a little chin shape. And then I'm going to add a little bit of profile shade here. Okay. And I think I might need to turn down my, hold on, I think the brightness is up too much on this here. Let's turn the brightness down some. And the contrast down just a little bit. Or maybe the brightness up. Contrast down. Okay, good shot. Okay, maybe we turn the sharpness down too because it's too sharp. Okay. All right, let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna do this here and add like a shadow here because the hair gives a natural shadow off from this position right here, right? So it looks like a little bit more 3D. See that little shadow right there? That would make the hair look like it's not just sitting up there. You know what I mean? All right, and let me see. Okay, again, I don't want too many lines coming through the face and all that because, again, that's going to make our picture look a lot older than what he really is. Okay, so we don't want that. Okay. Now, when we get to inside of the mouth, again, we're going to just darken in these spaces at the edge. Okay, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and just do this here because then it just really makes it stand out. And then that would be his like his little tongue right there. Okay. And then we'll have the bottom lip like that. Okay. And over here we're gonna do the same thing. I just feel like that'll make those little teeth stand out a little bit more. Okay. Good shot. All right. Now, shadowing my ears a little bit, and we're going to hurry up and get over here to our hair shapes. Now, when I get to the hair, I'm going to use crayon for them. I was going to use a dried out Crayola, but I don't know that might work because it might be too intense at first. So I'm going to use this little Crayola right here. Okay. All right, what's going on, Gordon? What's going on? So let's go ahead and do this hair real quick. So what I'll do is I'll use a light shade because he has very light hair. And I do the hair kind of like in a little, I just try to find the pattern, the impression like that, right? You see his hair and see how it's the impression of it, right? That's what we want. Okay, I think that eludes some people that it's supposed to be an impression of them, right? I'm trying to get this to where you could see it, but I know it's hard, guys. One day I'll figure out the master setup. Okay, so I'm just using this here. Okay, so once I get here, then I come back with my next dark. So I'll just press a little bit harder in certain areas to give me a little bit more contrast. Contrast is very important in drawing your pictures. You see where I'm adding it next to the hair in certain spots. And it just really does something to the picture, right? Okay. When I get to the shirt, we'll I don't know. Let me see. I just press really hard down here. Just give me a little bit of impression, right? Real quick. All right, so I think that looks good right there. All right, and now we're gonna go over here to this head, right? So you guys can see that. You guys can see it. Okay. And I'm gonna do let me see if I can find his face here. Okay. So we got that face there. You guys can see. Okay. I'm gonna move my pad. I'm gonna move the paper over some, in fact, just so I can just put it down right here. Okay, put this underneath there. So maybe I can tilt it to make it not reflect that light. All right. All right, so here we go. So here's his face. All right, so this is what we're gonna do, watch. 1, 2, right? See? Now we're looking for the basic pattern. Not a lot of pin pressure here, okay? Not a lot of pin pressure. Just like this. Okay? You can see back here it's going to be darker. As it gets to the bottom, you'll notice his hair gets really curly. I'll get all that in just a minute. But again, I want to get this down first. Okay. Keep all those curls in there. Okay. Okay, and as it gets down here, again, we'll take into consideration that he has a lot of curls at the bottom. Okay. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna do the next layer. The next layer is to let's move it up some. Okay. All right, let me see. So now I'm going to add some darks into my hair. Some little, I'm going to use more of the tip of the marker. Here's what I'm doing. Right? And then I got my shapes kind of coming down. Right? Okay. Color this in here, right next to the face. This is going to give us that nice contrast that we want, right? I'm gonna do the jackets and stuff in a different manner. I'll show you in just a minute how I'm gonna really throw some contrast. Okay, so I think that we I think that looks nice right there. Can't see anything else I want to do here. Okay, so I think there's such a thing as overdrawing, right? So what we want to do now is now that we're finished with the idea of the picture, we'll just put this over here, and then we'll go into the finishing stages of the picture. Okay. Now I did notice here that I'm a little off center, but no problem. I know what to do. All right. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take this marker, which is it's a big monster marker, right? And I want to add some contrast to my face. Okay. So first off, let me darken in his eyes just a little bit more with this gray here. Just a little bit more. There we go. And then we need to do this too with his eyelashes. Okay, I'm using a thinner marker here to do this. The bigger the piece of paper that you have, the better. The more you can be free with your hand. But when I have a limited space to work with, I don't like my picture to run off the paper. I'd rather be too small than too big, right? You know what I mean? Okay, so now what can I do with this? Let's see here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna border the picture. Okay, this is how I like to do this. So, right, and I'm gonna border it. Okay, hold on. Then I'm gonna go sideways. Okay. And then I'm going to go upside down. Okay, and then we're going to turn it right side up. Okay, and then what we're going to do, all right, is we're going to do Christopher and William, right? So what we'll do here is we'll get out our pencil here. Let me see how I want to do this. Christopher and William, how I want to do it. Let's see. I'm going to do it like this. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to sign right here. Okay. And then I want to do some little, I'm going to do some little, down here, right? This would be like the little jacket, right? Here. And over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, because now my eye is pulling to one versus the other. No, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm just going to do, how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do like this. I don't want to go too much. So I'm going to do something like this. I'm just doing this on the fly. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So my eyes don't get pulled too much from what I'm trying to do. All right. And then let me see here. I think we're just about done. Let me go back and look over my faces again to be sure. So this is Christopher over here. Christopher looks good. Got the little nose shape. Do this here. Okay, got the teeth right. Mouth right. Everything right. Okay, and then we're going to go over here to William. And William looks great. This is where I do like whatever finishing touches. I don't do this much detailing and stuff when I'm live. But when somebody orders a picture online from me, I want to make sure that they can hang this in their living room. That is the goal of me. I want you to be. I want you to be able to look at this and be reminded of these people, and all the time when you see them, you say, "Oh, that looks," you know what I mean. And when they get old and their parents, they leave the house and stuff. They're gonna look at that picture in their living room, and it's not distasteful. See, that's the problem with the other pictures. To me, I feel like nobody's gonna hang up a picture of themselves in their living room that doesn't, you know what I'm saying, that's not favorable to their appearance. You get what I'm saying? So I like to try to do something that's going to be favorable, and that is thus the style of my cartoon. Again, every caricature artist has a different way that they do it, and this is just my way. Okay. I see a little thing I can do here. I just left out. Hold on. Okay. All right. So it looks like we're done. Okay. And I just got one more thing I gotta do here. All right. And all done. All right, so we are finished with those. We're just gonna. What time is it now? I don't even remember what time I started. Right. All right, let's check out TikTok up here and see what you guys got going on up here. Okay. Again, guys, man, tips are appreciated. If you feel like you're benefiting from the stream today, and you want to tip, man, thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. In advance. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and set back up our our pictures here. So we're just going to do a couple of random pictures. I'm going to take Christopher and William, and I'm going to put them. You guys can see it up close here. Okay. And if you want a commission picture, I do commissions as well. I will be shipping this out probably here the next day or two. We'll put it over here. Man, that one came out real nice. I love it. Okay, let me get some paper out here. And then we're going to do a couple of more faces. And then we'll get you guys out of here. So we'll put this here and bring our pad back in. And let's kind of make it go down some so you can see the. Oh man, that's not going to be good. Can I tilt this to get that out of his face? Yeah, I can. I got these lights above my camera, and I still haven't been how to figure out. I'm gonna have to figure out. I might need to put that little the cover on there so it doesn't show like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm no videographer. I'm just a regular, right? All right. So let's find some faces that we can work on together. Again, we're gonna go here to. Oh wow! I got some kid pictures here. Somebody's been asking me to do that. I don't know if I could. Let me see. Let's try her face. This looks like a good character to draw. All right, let's see what I got here. Okay, here we go, guys. Hairline. Well, she got a big afro. She's pretty though. Long neck here. Again, here you can see that trapezoid shape right there, right? And then I'm gonna build the bottom of my face here. I like to build this piece in first, so I can see how it's gonna sit for me, right? And then I just come up here, and I'm thinking again as a, when I get to the top, I always think of a 3-sided figure. So I want to do the top of the hair like this. I'm just gonna do the outside first as one big shape, kind of like this, okay? And then I add the sides to it. So I like to separate my hair into shapes. You see what I'm saying? So it looks like big, then look at that. But if you try to go with the overall idea like this, sometimes it'd be off just a little bit. So, but if you can do it that way, I mean, my hat's off to you. Okay. I'm gonna go with these little eyebrows here. Get the basic expression in with my trapezoids, and then I'll add my little peak to the end to make them a little bit longer. Okay, then I'll add my nose shape here, or else I'll see a hexagon shape here, like that, and then I'll just do this shape like this. Right? Now I'll add my lip shape here. Okay, and then I add my eyes in here like this. So she's not smiling yet, and then I just do like this. eyelashes here. And then some eyelashes down here. You guys should be able to hear me okay. Hopefully I'm talking loud enough for you over here. You can hear my my mumbles. All right. And then let me see here. There we go. Just quick little. I could have made those eyes smaller in relation to the, or further away from the eyebrow shape, but it still didn't make it not look like her. I feel like because the head shape was very strong for this one, I was able to still kind of pull something off there. Yeah, but those eyes needed to be a little smaller. All right, let me see here. All right, now let's add some shadow. Take this marker here. Add my curls in. So this is how fast it goes in when I'm drawing lines. See that line? You won't be able to see that no more. So I just keep your big marker. All right. And this way, the hair goes real fast. Okay. All right. So at this point, I will put some little hairs around the outside. Man, that brightness is up so much, man. Is it? Okay. All right, there we go. And then after you finish, then to make it look a little bit more realistic, you just add some little hairs on the outside. Okay. I don't think there's anything else I can do to this picture. I don't think there's anything else. I think it still came. I think it came out pretty good. Yeah, not too bad. I think what's going on now, I understand. I think this is going on. It's got that every time I touch that, it does something else here. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So if I take the exposure, I don't want it too low. That's too low. Too much. I guess that's just right. And then maybe I can turn down the brightness. and the contrast. Okay. All right. So that was my cartoon of her. I think it didn't come out too bad, right? But again, had I had it to do again, I would have went with more space here, like kind of like this here. I would have went like this, and then I would have said like this, right? But then I would have went more like this, and then like this, right? But I would have went smaller here, meaning I would have went with more of an angled shape like this, with more space in between. This was a different eye. I needed this shape here. That looks so much different. See? That's really what I was looking for. Hey man, I mess up sometimes too. Okay. I should have known better. Or something like that. And I went with a little bit more space here than what I did. And then I would have went with the mouse shape like this. And then this. You see how that looks so much that looks so much more like her to me. This looks like her, but this looks a lot more like her. You know what I mean? So I kind of messed up right there. But everything else would have been the same. This would have stayed the same. That would have stayed the same. This would have stayed the same. Yeah. All would have stayed the same. Okay, so guys, we're gonna go ahead and start going into the word of the day. Okay, so if you guys want to stick around for the word of the day, that you can. Just give me a moment to go ahead and get my stuff set up, and then we will do that, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Okay. Also, don't forget, guys, tips are appreciated. If you feel like you've benefited from the stream today, you can tip. Also, we do classes online. So I do live one-on-one classes with you to teach you how to draw a caricature live. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, you can go to rouserworld.com/classes, and you can check that out. Again, once I get more, tech savvy, I'll be able to get all this stuff put on the film, and I'm getting better. I am getting better. I'm getting better, man. I'm getting better at this tech stuff. You know what I mean? Learning what this computer does. Sometimes you can really mess some things up. The other day, I was learning how to use Adobe Premiere, and it's like every other film editor. I mean, but it has so many things and so many buttons everywhere, and I was just like, whoa, like, and so I learned that with technology, a lot of times just because it's there doesn't mean you should use it. I mean, if you can just do it, you can just do it another way. Try not to involve the technology, and so I did anyway. All right, so let's go ahead, guys, and we're going to take a quick intermission, and then we're going to do our word of the day. So I'll be right back. Welcome back to the live stream. We are going to go into our word of the day. I was just explaining to everyone on TikTok that I'm currently going through a 40-day fast. Um, Fasting for me is breaking habits, breaking addictions to certain ways of thinking, certain things that I do, right? That's what that I have a habit of doing. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I get stressed about something, I struggled with alcoholism for a lot of years and drug abuse, um, and so a lot of times when things get tough or hard in my life, the devil wants me to go back to that. He wants me to believe in that instead of um, breaking that thing and understanding that there's no power in that. It's just an illusion, and that you're never too old or not too young to discover a new way to live. In other words, there's a Iron Man. I like to always refer to him. Iron Man is one of my favorite. He's actually my favorite superhero. And the reason that he's my favorite superhero, I remember one movie where he was trying to solve the riddle of his heart. If you guys have seen all the Iron Man series, I've seen it all the time. But you remember his chest piece was malfunctioning. It was keeping him alive, but it was also killing him. He said, unfortunately, that's what Jarvis told him one day. Unfortunately, Tony, the same thing that's keeping you alive is also killing you. And sometimes I look at drugs and alcohol that way. It might seem like it's keeping you alive in the moment, right? But it's actually killing you. You know what I mean? And so he was locked in this room, and with Nick Fury, and Nick Fury locked him in there, and he had to. He told him he couldn't come out until he solved the riddle of his heart. He had to find a new element. I don't. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you guys never seen it, I'm gonna go ahead and get my Iron Man here. I got a little one here. Let me see. What the heck? I'm gonna go ahead and I'll get this little one. But you guys see this little. If you don't know who that is, this is little piece in his chest right here. Remember? So he had to find a new one for his heart, right? And so he finally did. He finally found a new element, and one that was more powerful, that didn't have the side effects, that didn't have the all the bad things that came with the other element that he had in his heart at one time. Well, this is what God is for me. I was operating based off of the alcohol and the drugs and the sleeping with all these chicks, and you know what I mean. And it was just all of it was just distraction from me growing. You know what I mean. It seemed like this was the right thing to do, and at that time, because the physical part of it, your body wants the physical stuff, but the physical thing is killing you. His thing is to get you to believe a lie long enough to kill you. Okay? And never discover who you really are. That's the devil's game. But most of us grow into old age and we're still 10 years old, or we're still 15 years old. We're still 20 years old. We never freaking grow up and become a man or real man or a real woman. We just want to give into our feelings all the time. So that's what this fast is for me. I fast. Okay, hold on. I fast from time. Oh, my battery. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys, because my battery just went out. Well, I had it already charged. It's just that it uses the battery so fast on TikTok. So, oh man. Anyway, so I'm just gonna finish on YouTube. It doesn't matter. Okay. So let me see here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through. I'm gonna take you through. I'm on day 2, okay, of it, and it's called "You Are Not an Accident." You are not an accident. So I'm going to read this to you, talk about kind of what I wrote, my notes and stuff like that. And then hopefully this helps somebody. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So it says here, you are not an accident. Hold on. Let me plug this in here. Let me do that so I can at least have it plugged in. All right. So she's charging. Man, and zapped my battery quick. All right. It says in the book of Isaiah, we're going to go there first. Isaiah is in the Old Testament. And we're going to go to chapter 44 and verse 2. Okay. And it says, I am the Lord. It says, the Lord who made you and helps you says, do not be afraid, O Jacob, my servant. You are the chosen one. In other words, I am your creator. You were in my care even before you were born. And then it says here as a thing by Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein says that God doesn't play dice. So God didn't. He designed you, and he wasn't gambling. It wasn't never a point in your human makeup or our human makeup or my human makeup. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about me. This way nobody can be offended by that. There's never a time, there's nothing about me that God did by accident. Every part of you, even your struggle, right? Your personality, who you are, was all by design. And as I began to believe this and understand this, first of all, believe it and then understand it, but more believe it in faith, then it birthed this thing to spend my life going to the next level. You know, how good can you get at a video game, right? The video game was designed at levels. I used to play some of the games. I've played Modern Warfare. I played that a couple of times. I used to be a big Modern Warfare guy. And then you get badges. Every time you get better, you level up and you win different perks and you can do different things, right? You can get different weapons. Right? And so you start leveling up, and then the other players on the game can tell what your skill level is by the level of your of perks or things that you achieve throughout the game. Well, it's the same thing with God and me, that I earn things based on my growth spiritually. And I don't want to ever just stay stagnant and stay in the same place. I know that I was created for a purpose, so I want to find that purpose, and that purpose is I'm seeing now is tied to it's completely tied to others. It's not even tied to myself. I can only find me through others. I can't find me through me. I can't go around just doing everything for me and expect to find me. I have to put myself in a position to be a servant, right? In order for me to grow to that next level, right? So let's go ahead and read this short passage here. Let's talk about it, and let's see what else I can find today to help to apply to myself in my spiritual journey to discover more about Harry. I hope that this helps you discover more about you. So I like to make things personal. Harry, you're not an accident. Your birth was no mistake or mishap, and your life is no fluke of nature. Your parents may not have planned you, but God did. And he was not at all surprised by your birth. In fact, he expected it. Long before you were conceived by your parents, you were conceived in the mind of God. He thought of you first. It is not fate, nor chance, nor luck, nor coincidence that you are breathing at this very moment. You are alive because God you are alive because God wanted to create you. The Bible says the Lord will fulfill his purpose in me. That's in Psalms 138, verse 8. God prescribed every single detail of my body. He deliberately chose my race. He chose the color of my skin. He chose my hair. That's funny. And every other feature. He custom designed me just the way he wanted me. He also determined the natural talents I would possess and the uniqueness of my personality. So, man, the Bible says you know me inside and out. You know every bone in my body. You know exactly how I was made, bit by bit, how I was sculpted from nothing into something. Now, as I read that first passage, it was really touching. It really touched me, it was early in the morning. I always get up early and just sit here and read, and how sometimes we can think that maybe we can think we're an accident. Maybe we grew up in an adopted family. We didn't know our mother or our father personally. Or maybe you grew up with one parent or not the other for whatever reason. Or maybe you were the result of your parents out partying tonight and they was one night standing, and next thing you know, somebody wound up pregnant, and then so any of those variations can happen in our life. But it's hard to wrap our head around. But our parents, though they may have been at fault or may have been doing something they ain't had no business, that has nothing to do with why God created you. Because it says in his word that everything about you, everything about me is unique, right? What the devil likes to do, man, is he likes to take what is our strength, right? Or I would say something like this, something that we struggle with. For instance, our personality. Some people have personalities that are very aggressive, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you take the right thing and apply it to the wrong situation in the wrong way, then it becomes not a blessing anymore, and it becomes a curse. The devil takes what God meant for good and tries to use it for evil. But God never loses. So what the enemy is trying to do, he always brings good out of it. And so it's like, I can remember in a lot in my life about, like, I was thinking about, like, when I was a kid, I'm going to tell you, I didn't like fighting. I didn't like to see nobody get like hurt. I didn't like to, I just wasn't, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I genuinely had this love for people as a kid, even though I was going to, but I just liked people. And I couldn't figure out why some people were so violent toward others, mercilessly violent. And part of me envied it because I felt like I wasn't tough like them. Why I wanted there was fear. I wanted people to fear me too, and I wanted to see what it was like to be feared like that. You know what I mean? And then the scripture told me not to, it says specifically in Proverbs one day I was reading, do not fear, right? Angry people. You know what I mean? Do not seek to be like them. It says, do not be envious of them. In other words, I know it's in the word, so I'm not the only one that struggled with this before. I can't be the only one that struggled with this. I don't know if y'all feel me on this, but I felt like that. I felt envious of a lifestyle that that was not in my personality. God didn't design me to be that way. He designed me to be Harry. Interesting enough, I shared with you guys, I went to prison. And I went there being me. And you know what got me through that situation? It was how God uniquely made me. I became friends. I didn't know why. They didn't know why they wanted to be friends with me. And I didn't know why I was even talking. I just saw them as a person. I didn't know about the horrific things that any of these men had done. But I was friends with some really like dangerous guys, dangerous dudes, like seriously violent people. But for some reason with me, it never came out. They always wanted to just hang out, be cool, man. Teach me how to draw, or man, you draw cool, or I could cut hair, or I would just like to talk about things. I never saw that part of them. And that's why God made me that person, because he called me into ministry. How am I going to reach the lost and the hurt, right, if I'm not me? I'm me, and I had to be okay with that. God is showing me now that my life is meant. He designed me, and the more I get down this road, I see it. He called me to minister and to make disciples of men and women. He called me to be of service to others, to help them grow. And through helping them grow, I myself would grow as well. So let's go ahead and keep going here. Because God made you for a reason, he also decided when you would be born, how long you would live. He planned the days of your life in advance, choosing the exact time of your birth and death. You can do push-ups all you want to. You can go to the gym all you want to. You can eat right all you want to. The day every man owes one death. That's what the scripture says. I know we can't wrap our minds around a God that knows everything and has considered every possible combination of every angle that you haven't even fathomed yet. This is who God is to me. So I don't question it. But just think he decided when you would be born and how long you would live. A lot of times we look at death and we see a young person pass away and we'll say, wow, that was tragic. Because we see, like human beings, we see tragedy. We see the body and what this body, we see it as this thing to be memorialized and just we give ourselves way too much credit sometimes. We're so self-absorbed that we can't wrap our mind around when that young person, they came because God said there was a purpose for their life. This physical life, because life doesn't end when we think it ends, because the death that we experience here is a physical death, but the spiritual thing is different. The spirit and the physical are two different things. Everybody that's ever been born still exists. Just because we can't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. So he planned when we will be born, and he planned when that young person, that something happened to that young person or that old person or whoever person, their purpose here has been served. You don't get to choose when you are going to leave. Today you could be watching this stream today. I could be watching this stream and leave right now. There's no packing your stuff, saying goodbye. Everybody don't get to do that. But because we start our thought process about anything that comes in relation to us, we always think about self, right? When something happens to somebody, we automatically put ourself in their situation. And then ourself, because we wouldn't want that to happen to us, it becomes horrific to us. But to God, this body is nothing. It is our spirit that lives on forever. The Bible says, "You saw me before I was born and scheduled each day of my life before I began to breathe. Every day was recorded in your book." Self-centered people think, well, that means that we don't really it's the illusion of choice is what you think you have. You might choose who you marry. You might choose, you might even think you chose that. Because the thing is if you believe you did, then, once you give somebody the illusion of choice, the illusion means that something that's not there, but you believe it's there. That's what an illusion is. So if you're self-centered, you believe the illusion that you think that you get to choose things. You don't get to choose nothing. It's just an illusion. You get to either obey, right, or not obey, but everything works to the glory of God. God also planned where you'd be born and where you'd live for his purpose. Your race and nationality are no accident. God left no detail to chance. He planned it all for his purpose. The Bible says, from one man, he created every nation, and he determined the time set for them and the exact places where they should live. Nothing in your life is arbitrary. It's all for a purpose. If God brings somebody into your life, he's expecting you to treat them according to Scripture. But some of us treat them according to self. God sent to you what was meant to be a friend, and you sleep with him. You take advantage of them. God sent a person for you to help, but you take from them instead of helping. And all of this is being recorded. Everything. Most amazing, God decided how you would be born. This was really cool right here for me because I struggled a lot in this area. Regardless of the circumstances of your birth or who your parents are, God had a plan in creating you. It doesn't matter whether your parents were good, bad, or indifferent. God knew that those two individuals possessed exactly the right genetic makeup to create the custom you he had in mind. It had nothing. You see, it has nothing to do with them. You know, they had the DNA God wanted for you. And I sit back and I think about my mom and my dad. And my dad died. He was murdered when I was just a baby. My mother struggled with a lot of things she shared with me in her life. And we went through a lot of ups and downs. And I judged them a lot because as I got older, I felt like, you're supposed to be my mom. You're supposed to be my dad. How did you leave me out here like this? And I didn't trust people because I felt like if my mother and father abandoned me, then what chance did I stand with anybody else in the world? And then I started researching the scriptures, and God touched my heart through the Holy Spirit. He said, your parents, exactly what this is. Regardless, I use them to get you here. They are merely vessels that God used to get me here. But because of my selfish nature, I always looked at things starting from me first. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my car, my stuff. And because I began to look at it with this my mentality, I never understood that. And I'm going to give you a scripture just to make it very clear for you. There's a part in the Bible where Jesus was out doing ministry work, and his birth mother and birth father came looking for him because they hadn't seen him in a long time. Found out where he was and went to the house knocking on the door. The people came into the room where Jesus was laying in his bed or whatever, and they said, Jesus, your mother and father are here to see you. And he said to them, He said, who is my mother? Who is my father? He says, my mother and father are those that do the will of God in my life in those roles. Right? Whoever is or behaves as a mother or father, that means that any woman could be my mother. Any man can be a father to me, if they choose to take on the role of that and to be of help to me, to be in the role of mother, father. But a selfish person can't understand this. They'll say, what are you talking about? My mom gave birth to me. No, your mom and dad, you don't own them. You don't own your mom and dad. You don't own your sister and your brother. Right? Only God. But when we're selfish, again, we don't see things because we only want what we want. But it says God knew those two individuals possess exactly the genetic makeup to create us. The me he had in mind. They had the DNA God wanted me to have. There was something that he placed in them that he wanted to be in me. That's the extent of it. Do they owe me anything? No. He's the one taking care of me. He's always been the one taking care of me. So if you find yourself today cursing your parents, feeling like your self-worth is nothing because you don't know even who your parents are. I think you're blind. You're being blinded by the enemy. Your parents are special if you do know them in one regard, that they had the DNA that God needed to make you. If you don't know them, they're still special because they had to, and that's why they say honor your mother and father, and your days on this earth to be long. Your birth mother and your birth father, you honor them simply because God used them to get you here. It is not tied to what they can give you. It's not tied to what they bought you. It's not tied to any of that nonsense. That all comes from the ego, the selfish nature inside of us. Listen, while there are illegitimate parents, there are no illegitimate children. Many children are unplanned by their parents, but they are not unplanned by God. God's purpose took into account human error. You was out at the club partying, or even sin. Your parents met at the club, one night stand, you are here, right? Whatever the situation may be. But again, the closed mind can't see. The selfish mind can't see. The selfish mind cannot forgive because they can't see. You just want to be mad because you feel like somebody owes you something, and nobody don't owe you nothing. Nobody owes me nothing. My mother don't owe me nothing. My dad don't owe me nothing. They already did what they owed me. They contributed DNA to make me because God said, so God used them to get me here. Whatever my mother, whatever problems that we had, or whatever the situation may be, that ain't got nothing to do with me, because God say honor her because of what I used her for. Honor your father because of what I used him for. God never does anything accidentally, and he never makes mistakes. You make mistakes. I make mistakes. God doesn't make mistakes. Oh, the Bible was written in a time where they don't understand. No, because you're speaking from what you want, what you see, what you think that life is about you, when life is not about you. Life is not about me. My life is not about me. My life is a life of service. It says in scripture that God, Jesus being a fully God, fully man, but fully God, he said he didn't hang on to the fact that he was God. Instead, he humbled himself to the position of a servant and humbled himself even to death on a cross. That's like Superman walking. I don't know if you've seen that movie. Me and my wife are talking. That's like Superman walking into jail, put some handcuffs on. If you under arrest, remember that movie? Superman went into the jailhouse and put handcuffs on and said, okay, I'm going to obey the law, even though I'm Superman. He has a reason for everything he creates. Every plant, every animal was planned by God, and every person was designed with a purpose in mind. We're almost done here, guys. God's motive for creating you was his love. The Bible says long before he laid down the earth's foundation, he had us in mind. He had settled on us as the focus of his love. God was thinking of you, or thinking of us, even before he made the world. In fact, that's why he created the world. You know, most people build houses because they expect people to live in them. They go buy a house because they expect somebody to inhabit it. God designed this planet's environment just so we could live in it. We are the focus of his love and the most valuable of all his creation. the Bible says God decided to give us life through the word of truth. That means that we listen to that. God decided to give us life. It says in the Bible, he decided to give us life through the word of truth, so we might be the most important of all the things he made. This is how much God values us. That means that he gave us, look, you can live, right? You can exist, or you can have life. You can exist with a lot of cars and houses and money. That's just existing. It might appear to be happiness to the selfish person, but a person that has real life and real freedom can look right through that phoniness. I was watching the Super Bowl the other day, and I seen some of the celebrities come into the stadium, and they were like expecting people to acknowledge them. That was their suit. That's what they thrive off. They're so selfish. They look at me. Look at who I am. You know what I'm saying? Yes, me. I'm in the house. They had that, you know what I mean? The looks on their faces, just arrogant. In their suits and whatever, they're commentating or whatever. But he's saying the word to have real life, to really discover you, get to this point in your life where you say, man, I had no idea that I was capable of this. God wants to make you say that. I didn't know that I could be delivered from this. I didn't know that I could be a good father. I didn't know that I could be like monogamous. I thought that I was supposed to be walking around acting in my nature. I was a slave to those things. I didn't know that I wouldn't be an alcoholic one day. I didn't know that I could be free from drugs. I didn't know that I could be free from sexual immorality and addictions to pornography. I didn't know that I could be moved past these things, because when I was in them and when I was only thinking about myself and playing the victim role with myself, I never saw better for myself, but God saw better. And now I'm sitting on the other side of it, and I'm amazed at where I came from. And my faith is getting bigger. So now I want to be more obedient. What else am I capable of? What else was in my mother's DNA and my father's DNA that you thought was so cool that you used them to make me? I want to find out more. My mother is still living. My dad is still living, not only spiritually, but physically through me. They might have messed up, but I'm the 5.0 version. And my kids are supposed to be the 10.0. If we don't think selfishly. God is not a haphazard. He planned it all with great precision. It says here, the more physicists, biologists, and other scientists learn about the universe, the better we understand how it is uniquely suited to our existence, custom made with the exact specifications made to make human life possible. It says here, Dr. Michael Denton, Senior Research Fellow in Human Molecular Genetics at the University of Otago in New Zealand, has concluded that all the evidence available in the biological sciences support the core proposition that the cosmos is specially designed with life and mankind as its fundamental goal and purpose. He made this earth, he made all this stuff just so we could live here. A whole in which all facets of reality have their meaning and explanation in this central fact. The Bible said the same thing thousands of years ago. God formed the earth, and then I'm paraphrasing, he did not create it to be empty, but formed it to be inhabited. Why did God do all this? Why did he bother to go to all the trouble of creating a universe for us? Because he is a God of love. This kind of love is difficult to fathom, but is fundamentally reliable. You see, we spend our whole life trying to mimic him. We're trying to move toward him. You see? The kind of love that God has for you, you can't even fathom that. Because a selfish person can't fathom love. They have the wrong definition of it. Because they always expect people to see the world like they do. They do nothing without a motive. If they give you, it's for a reason. If they talk to you, it's for a reason. But this type of love where you do for somebody else with no expectation of return, only because you love, you walk in love, you talk in love, you think in love, you speak in love. That's what this is. You were created as a special object of God's love. God made you so he could love you. That's why he created you. He didn't create you. Oh, watch this. This is a truth to build your life on. The Bible tells us God is love. It doesn't say God has love. He is love. Love is the essence of God's character. There is a perfect love in the fellowship of the Trinity, so God didn't need to create you. He wasn't lonely. He didn't want to make you in order to express his love. God says, I have carried you, in quote, I have carried you since you were born. I have taken care of you from your birth. I have taken care of you from your birth. Even when you are old, I will be the same. Even when your hair is turned gray, I will take care of you. I made you and will take care of you. If there was no God, we would all be accidents, the result of astronomical random chance in the universe. And we can stop reading right here if that's the case, because life would have no purpose, no meaning, or no significance. You see that when you don't have God, you don't believe God, you don't believe you have purpose, you could believe there's no meaning and no significance. That's why people that don't have God are capable of anything. Because why not? There would be no right or wrong, right? There would be no hope beyond your brief years on earth. And you can tell when somebody believes that through the way they behave. But there is a God who made you for a reason, and your life has profound meaning. We discover that meaning and purpose only when we make God the reference points of our life, when we stop being self-centered. The Message paraphrase of Romans 12:3 says, the only accurate way to understand ourselves is by what God is and by what he does for us. So we're going to finish up with this little poem that they have here. This poem is by Russell Kelfer, and it sums it up. So let me see if I can. You are who you are for a reason. You're part of an intricate plan. You're a precious and perfect, unique design. Call God special, woman or man. You look like you look for a reason. Our God makes no mistakes. He knit you together within the womb. You're just what He wanted to make. The parents you had were the ones He chose. And no matter how you feel, they were custom designed with God's plan in mind. They bear the Master's seal. And that trauma you faced was not easy. And God wept that it hurt you so. But it was allowed to shape your heart so that in His likeness, you'd grow. You'd let go of who you think you are. You are who you are for a reason. You've been formed by the Master's rod. You are who you are, beloved, because there is a God. I want to leave you with these 3 questions to ponder for yourself. These questions, this is day 2 of my fast. This is day 2 of what I'm studying. Point to ponder. I want you to understand you are not an accident. The verse to remember for today is, I am your creator. You were in my care even before you were born. That's in Isaiah 44, verse 2. And then last but not least, a question to consider. I know that God uniquely created me. What areas of your personality, your background, and physical appearance are you struggling to accept? I wrote mine down here. I guess I'll share them with you and then I'll get out of here. Personality. I feel things out of my, one thing out of my personality, I feel like I struggle to accept. I feel too much at times. Like, I don't know. I feel too much. I don't know if I said that right, but that's what I wrote here. And then I says here, gentleness. Sometimes I feel I'm too nice to people, but I can't help it. Like this struggle to be feared by others I have this struggle. Like I still at times struggle with wanting to be gangster, but I can't bring myself to be that way. Sometimes I think about that. I'm just being real with you. My background, let me see. I still can't believe that I hurt somebody and went to prison for hurting someone. In a bad, I was out drinking and partying, and that's a part of my life. All the people that I hurt, my ex-wife, her name was Italia, how bad I treated her, and my daughters. I feel sometimes I should have been there more for my mom, but I was so selfish. I kept, I didn't go see her when I should have, and then she was gone and it was too late. So it was just like I still feel shame sometimes. I also, I also give me a minute. Give me a minute. It's hard to get through this. So, um, some of my my background, some of my perversions, I engaged in like sexual acts with people and stuff. Sometimes that still haunts me. Um, and then, as far as my physical appearance, well, the list goes on, right? But I wasn't able to really come up with something for that, so I didn't write anything down at the time. But I wish I was a little bit taller, right? And but I'm still pondering that question. But that's the purpose of this fast, is to consider these things. So anyway, that's our word of today. You are not an accident. All right, you see, I feel too much, man. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I want to thank you for coming out to the stream today. I hope that me sharing my word of the day helped you in some way. That's what we're here for. If you're struggling with something, you need prayer, hey man, email me, send me a message, DM me, whatever. We'll definitely pray for you, because we all go through stuff, man. Life is real, man. And, God loves us, and he wants to heal us. But you have to say yes to him so he can, but he's already said yes to you. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. Y'all have a blessed and awesome day. Enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next time.